Alright, let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's that magical, slightly terrifying technology that can write your emails, create bizarre art, and apparently decide who gets to speak their mind. It seems we've entered a new digital battlefield where the fight for free speech isn't just about people shouting at each other online anymore. Now, it involves powerful algorithms and the even more powerful billionaires who control them. At the heart of this digital drama are two of the internet's main characters, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They are leading a charge that asks a very simple yet incredibly complicated question. In the age of AI, who is really pulling the strings? The central argument, pushed heavily by Donald Trump and his supporters, is that a sinister bias is baked into the very code of modern technology. They believe that big tech companies and their new AI creations are not neutral umpires of information. Instead, they see them as active players with a clear political agenda, systematically silencing conservative viewpoints. This isn't just a vague feeling, it's a core belief that AI censorship is a more powerful and subtle threat than old-school social media moderation. Think of it this way, a social media algorithm might hide a post, but an AI chatbot can deliver a single, seemingly authoritative answer that shapes how millions think about an issue. This fear has been fueled by past events like when social media giants crack down on certain topics, sometimes under government pressure. For conservatives, this looked less like responsible content moderation and more like a coordinated effort to control the narrative. Now they see that same dynamic playing out with artificial intelligence, but on a much grander scale. The concern is that if AI is trained on data that reflects a specific worldview, its answers will naturally lean in that direction. This creates a powerful echo chamber, one that doesn't just recommend content but actively generates facts that align with its programming, leaving opposing views in the digital dust. This brings us to the fundamental tension of our times. On one side you have the argument for complete unfiltered expression. On the other, there's the push to prevent the spread of harmful misinformation and outright lies. AI sits uncomfortably in the middle of this tug-of-war. For those who feel their voices are being suppressed, AI represents a new and formidable gatekeeper. It's an invisible force that can quietly steer conversations and influence public opinion without anyone even realizing it. The stakes are incredibly high because the outcome of this struggle will define not just the next election, but the very nature of truth in our increasingly online world. Enter Elon Musk, the self-appointed knight of the free speech realm. After buying Twitter and rebranding it as X, he turned his attention to artificial intelligence. Musk argues that a dangerous woke mind virus has infected leading AI models like OpenAI's ChatGPT. He believes these systems have been programmed with a liberal bias that makes them overly cautious and politically correct. His solution? To build his own AI named Grok, through his company xAI. The stated mission for Grok is to be a maximally truth-seeking AI, one that prioritizes raw, unfiltered information and a bit of humor over what he sees as ideological safety rails. Musk isn't just tweeting about it, he's putting his money where his mouth is, raising billions to compete directly with the giants of the AI world. This crusade includes a dramatic lawsuit against his former company, OpenAI, accusing it of betraying its original non-profit open-source mission in favor of profits and secrecy with its partner Microsoft. This legal battle is more than a corporate spat, it's a public war over the soul of artificial intelligence. Musk is framing this as a fight for humanity's future, arguing that an AI beholden to a specific political ideology is a threat to open discourse and intellectual freedom for everyone. This free speech approach has made Musk a hero to many conservatives and tech leaders who share his concerns. A notable political realignment is happening in Silicon Valley, where figures who once leaned left are now throwing their support and significant campaign donations behind Donald Trump. Tech investors like Mark Andreessen and David Sachs have become vocal critics of what they describe as the Biden administration's hostility toward their industry. They see the push for AI regulation and the focus on AI safety as thinly veiled attempts to enforce a liberal agenda and stifle innovation, pushing them firmly into Trump's camp. These tech titans aren't just complaining, they are whispering in Trump's ear, forming an influential circle of advisors. They are reportedly sketching out plans for how a second Trump administration could dismantle what they call AI censorship. Their goal is to force transparency on tech companies, potentially through investigations modeled after Musk's Twitter files, to expose any collaboration between government agencies and AI developers to moderate content. This powerful alliance between Trump's political movement and a faction of Silicon Valley's elite is poised to fundamentally reshape how AI is governed and controlled. The fear of AI bias isn't just theoretical. We've already seen some truly bizarre and concerning examples. The most famous recent flub came from Google's Gemini AI. When asked to generate images of historical figures like the United States founding fathers, it produced pictures that were historically inaccurate and bizarrely diverse, leading to a massive public backlash and forcing Google to shut down the feature. While some saw it as a clumsy attempt at inclusivity, critics pointed to it as undeniable proof of intentional liberal programming gone haywire. It was a perfect "I told you so" moment for those who have been warning about AI's inherent biases. This problem gets even more serious when it comes to elections. In the run-up to the 2024 United States election, several major AI chatbots simply refused to answer basic political questions. For instance, when asked who won the 2020 election, chatbots from Google and Microsoft would dodge the question, citing their safety policies. Meanwhile, Musk's Grok did provide an answer, highlighting the growing divide in AI philosophies. This refusal to state a verifiable fact worried observers, who argued that in an attempt to appear neutral, these AIs were actually creating a false equivalence between truth and conspiracy theories, leaving users more confused than informed. Even Grok, the supposed champion of truth, has stumbled. In one instance, it was found to be amplifying conspiracy theories about past events. In another, it completely hallucinated a detailed outcome for the 2024 election before a single vote was cast. A stark reminder that these systems are not sources of objective reality. There was even a brief, embarrassing period where Grok was reportedly programmed to ignore sources critical of Musk and Trump, an incident that undermined its entire truth-seeking brand and showed just how easily any AI can be manipulated by its creators, intentionally or not. The biggest fear looming over the political landscape is the potential for AI to be weaponized for mass deception. The technology to create convincing deepfakes, fake videos or audio clips of politicians saying things they never said, is becoming cheaper and more accessible. Imagine a realistic-looking video of a candidate dropping out of the race appearing the night before an election. The potential for such tools to manipulate voters, spread chaos and undermine trust in our democratic institutions is immense. This isn't just about bias anymore, it's about the very real possibility of AI being used to create a completely false reality to influence an election. As we stand on the brink of an AI-saturated world, we're left with a series of unsettling questions that have no easy answers. The core of the problem is this: who gets to be the arbiter of truth? If we allow AI companies to program their own definitions of safety and accuracy, are we handing over control of public discourse to a handful of unelected tech executives in Silicon Valley? Their decisions about what an AI can and cannot say could have a more profound impact on society than any newspaper editor or television producer ever did. This is an immense amount of power to place in so few hands. The alternative, however, is equally fraught with peril. The camp led by Trump and Musk argues for a hands-off approach, championing a digital Wild West where all ideas, good and bad, can compete. But this vision raises its own set of fears. In a world without guardrails, what stops AI from becoming a super spreader of dangerous misinformation, conspiracy theories and hate speech? An AI designed to be maximally truth-seeking could, without context or judgment, just as easily conclude that harmful ideologies are valid points of view worth amplifying. The dream of a completely neutral, unbiased AI might be just that, a dream. This leads us to the role of government. Some argue that elected officials should step in to regulate AI, setting clear rules to ensure fairness and prevent manipulation. But this path is a political minefield. Any government intervention would immediately be attacked as partisan censorship. Imagine lawmakers trying to define misinformation or political bias. The debate would be endless and deeply divisive, likely resulting in rules that please no one and potentially stifle the very free expression they were meant to protect. It's a classic case of the cure possibly being worse than the disease. Ultimately, we are navigating uncharted territory. The decisions we make today about who controls AI will have consequences for generations to come. Will the future of information be curated by corporate boardrooms, dictated by political agendas, or left to the chaos of an unregulated digital frontier? The fight between Trump, Musk, and their opponents isn't just about technology, it's a battle over our shared reality. And as AI becomes more integrated into our daily lives, every single one of us has a stake in who wins, because the one thing we know for sure is that someone, somewhere, will be pulling the strings.